Just waiting for a few more people to join this webinar. Again, thank you so much for joining this morning on this beautiful day in Wisconsin, a little chilly, but looking forward to getting started just in another minute. I see we have some more participants for this webinar. Good morning, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining this morning. My name is Juan Carlos Cerda, and I am the Business Outreach Manager for the American Business Immigration Coalition, or ABIC. ABIC promotes common sense immigration reform that advances economic competitiveness, provides companies with the high-skilled and low-skilled talent that they need, and allows the integration of immigrants into our economy as consumers, workers, entrepreneurs, and citizens. Last night, we heard good news that Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Secretary Stephen Mnuchin got closer to a federal stimulus deal. While they have not resolved their differences on several issues, we are hopeful that a bill will be written by the end of this week and that we pass this bill before Election Day. We urge President Trump to support a deal when it materializes, and we ask that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell please put this package on the floor for a vote. The bill that Leader McConnell is attempting to pass today excludes many provisions agreed on by Democrats and by the president, including a round of $1,200 stimulus checks for 16,000 Wisconsinites who were left out of the CARES Act just because of whom they married. Wisconsin is a critical 2020 battleground state, and excluding 16,000 Wisconsinites from stimulus relief is not only morally wrong and economically damaging to the state, but it is also politically foolish for Republicans. That is why we call on Senator Ron Johnson, Leader McConnell, and President Trump to urgently pass a comprehensive stimulus package that includes mixed status families in the federal relief that they desperately need. For our viewers, please tweet to these legislators using the sample tweets found in the Zoom chat, which will be to the right of your screen. Before I introduce our speakers, I would like to thank the members of Mixed Status Families United, a group of families who filed joint tax returns with ITA numbers and were excluded from federal coronavirus stimulus relief. They have worked tirelessly to ensure that 1.7 million tax-paying US citizens and legal residents and their rights are recognized. You will hear some of their stories in the press conference today. We will have a few minutes to answer questions from members of the press at the end of this event. If you would like to ask a question, please type your media outlet's name and your question into the Q&A box. Members of the press will be able to ask their question directly to our panelists if their question is selected. At the end of the press and Q&A event, we will have a Spanish language testimony from a US citizen if there is a request from a member of the press. Please type your request for a Spanish testimony in the Q&A box. I will now introduce Kathy Carvajal, Impact Executive Director for ABIC. Kathy has been instrumental in getting the support of Republican Senators Marco Rubio and Rick Scott for mixed status families and legislation that helps them. Kathy?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Juan Carlos. My name is Kathy Bird Carvajal, and I'm the Executive Director of Impact Fund. We are the Florida chapter of the American Business Immigration Coalition. I want to thank everybody for participating with us today. I would like to start with welcoming Jennifer Estrada. She is joining us today from Wisconsin. Jennifer is the CEO of Crusaders for Justicia, and she is on the front lines of meeting the needs of needy families in Wisconsin. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting, and I'm glad that there is a lot of people out there still continuing to fight, and we are fighting it from a different angle. From being a mixed family, I know the struggle, and the reason why I started Crusaders of Justicia and the fight, not only for helping exploited families of Wisconsin, but kind of giving them a voice when they feel that they don't have one. Because my husband was deported in 2012, so I know the struggles all too well. I am, as you said, the CEO of Crusaders of Justicia, organized and started last year. We are part of the Wisconsin Hunger Task Force. And with that being said, we used to serve about 123 families per year, and we're up to a little over 3,000 families a week, moving 70,000 pounds of food. We are serving mostly about 89% of the community that we serve is Latinx and immigrant communities. We've seen the uptick, obviously. Our Latinx communities are the demographic that's being the hardest hit when you're coming to the meatpacking plants, and also in a community like Manitowoc County, where we have 89% of our workforce on our dairies are undocumented. And with that being said, they're essentially providing the food to our tables, but yet can't put food on their own, and that's extremely concerning. We, as everyone knows, Wisconsin was cut out of this next round of the USDA food grant, so no suppliers in Wisconsin will be supplying food to these families. So if we're looking at families that are being hit because they were not only left out of the stimulus package, but a lot of those programs that they can't qualify already, not only is that unfair, but it's heartbreaking, because I think that we're on the fringe of Wisconsin families going hungry, and our numbers are just starting to peak, and we're trying to organize that. We have 112 organizations in the Wisconsin Hunger Task Force that serves 72 Wisconsin counties, and each one of us are seeing our numbers rise. So I think that it's extremely important for everybody here to come out and urge Senator Johnson to include these families, because Wisconsin is the battleground right now for COVID, as we know, and we're dealing with not only farmers and farm hands, but actual farm owners that are not going bankrupt. They're also not being able to put food on their own families' tables. So that's extremely concerning to us. We are doing door deliveries to 328 COVID positive families, and these are already families that don't have those protections at work like a lot of us are afforded, and the healthcare system is already obviously strained because of that. So if we don't act now and we don't act accordingly and get these 16,000 families that were left out in Wisconsin, we're left out of this bill. If we do not get them on this next round of bills, we are headed to a tipping ground here that, it could send us into a spiral that we probably won't be able to recover from. I know that all of our efforts are being extremely exhausted. Not only our personnel, but our resources. And now that Wisconsin's being cut out of the food program coming in at the end of this month, our families are going to be hurting. And, they were cut out of the first round unfairly. And if they're cut out of this round, it could be devastating. So we need to act now. We need everybody to contact their senator, and we need to urge the president to, pass this bill, including, our mixed status families.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for the valuable work that you are doing, and we thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Now I would like to introduce Jessie Alarcon from Madison, Wisconsin. And thank you so much, Jessie, for being with us today.
Thank you, Kathy. Like Kathy said, I'm Jessie Alarcon. I live in Madison, Wisconsin with my husband, Luis, who's from Mexico. We've been together for over 4 years. We live with our 4 kids, including my son, who has special needs and an IEP at school. Before the pandemic hit, my husband was working in a hotel. He was doing maintenance, landscaping, and snow removal. I worked for my credit union for 15 years. When the pandemic hit, my husband lost his job. Schools shut down and went virtual, and my son could no longer go to school and get the support that he needed. I was forced to take a leave of absence when school resumed in September. That leave has caused me to take a 2/3 pay cut from my regular salary. And unfortunately, with Wisconsin's COVID numbers continuing to rise, schools are going to remain closed. I have to remain on leave at my pay cut. And I'm afraid if things don't open up, that I'm going to lose my job. My paycheck is what we use to pay our mortgage. It's what we use to pay our electric bill, our major utilities. My husband's check is what we pay our cell phone bill with and what we buy our groceries with and Wi-Fi that we need in order for the kids to still continue their schooling. Right now, my husband, he didn't qualify for unemployment. We were left out of the stimulus. Right now, he is picking up just side jobs here and there because if he doesn't bring home a minimum of $400 a week along with my paycheck, we don't have enough to pay our mortgage. We don't have enough to pay our bills. Also, I can't apply for any type of government assistance like food stamps because he isn't completed through the immigration process yet, and that can be held against him when we go in for the final immigration processing. Because of this, we're relying on food pantries right now to help us just keep food on the table for our family. And we're super grateful for that. But that also doesn't help us pay our bills and we don't have enough money. I've been paying taxes since 1996. When I was legally able to get a job, I had a job. I've paid my taxes since then. My husband and I have filed our taxes jointly like we're supposed to. He uses an ITIN because he doesn't have a social security number yet. My children were born in this country. I was born and raised in this country. I never thought in a million years that at a time like this, I and my children would be left out. I love my husband. I love my family. With the money that we would have received from the CARES Act, we could have been putting that away for moments right now where we're $250 short of paying our mortgage this month. I know it's an election year because I am being bombarded daily by multiple text messages, phone calls, people knocking on my door, asking who I'm voting for, if I'm voting, if I'm registered to vote. And I keep asking myself, if they want my vote, why are they discriminating against me and my family? Why are they leaving us out? Why are they leaving us behind? I'm calling on Senator Ron Johnson to follow the example of Republican senators like Rubio, support the immoral exclusion that we have faced. We need Congress to get to work for their constituents, for all of us. Stop the fighting, stop the arguing, pass another round of CARES Act that fixes the mess that my family and the 16,000 families in Wisconsin and the 1.7 million families in the United States are caught in. Voters like me, we're counting on you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jessie, and thank you so much for the work that you do, not only for your family, but getting out there, helping to distribute food to needy families. You really are an inspiration to us all, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me today.
Thanks. Now I would like to introduce Lisa Lopez, who is joining us from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Lisa, thank you so much for being with us today. Go ahead.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Lopez, and I live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my husband, Jorge, and our 8-year-old son. Jorge and I have been together since 2009. I've always wanted to become a nurse, so I've been studying nursing up until this year. But because I have rheumatoid arthritis, physically I'm not able to do it anymore, so I had to change my major to a health information technologist. But I'm currently a college student, and my son is also do virtual learning at home, which is difficult at times. I'm at high risk for COVID and contracted it in early September. Thankfully, we were able to have good health care and a mild case of COVID. My son and I both study from home, and I have to stay home with him while my husband works long hours as a mechanic. In November of 2018, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, and I am lucky that they caught it early enough. My husband worked his long hours and also helped to take care of me while I was in recovery. I've worked many years since I was able to at the age of 18, and I only took off to raise my son and my older children. We pay our taxes jointly every year. We pay taxes and we file jointly. When I did not receive a stimulus check as a U.S. citizen and a parent of a U.S. citizen, I was saddened. This pandemic has been so difficult for my family on an economic and emotional level. My husband contracted COVID also in September and was out of work for 1 month. No income. We didn't qualify for unemployment. We had nothing. It hurts even more that my country considers me not worthy of the same rights as everyone else because of who I married. I married an honorable working man. Today, as a U.S. voter and as a U.S. citizen, I'm calling on Senator Ron Johnson to do right by all U.S. citizens and make sure we are all treated fairly. Families like mine also need help, and we need Congress to put politics aside and make a deal that includes my mixed status family. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lisa. And now I would like to introduce Anna Fuller, who is joining us from Madison, Wisconsin. Anna?
Hello, my name is Anna Fuller. We live in Madison. I live with my husband and our 4 kids. I've known my husband since 2008. We got married in 2016. He works for a restaurant very close to our home, and I actually work from home for a third-party benefits administrator that works directly with the IRS for CMS reporting and compliance. I've been very blessed that I could work from home to take care of the kids while all 4 of them are in anywhere from 4K all the way up to our oldest is a senior this year. So trying to get them through school and work while my husband is on and off working when the restaurant is able to be open has been very difficult. In March, when my husband's restaurant shut down, I also heard that we were gonna get a stimulus check, and I was excited and thankful that we were gonna be getting some help. And as soon as we found out about this, I realized that, oh, you know, he's gonna be left out, which is fine, I understand. He pays taxes, we pay taxes, but he's not a citizen yet, I understand that. And then I found out that none of us would get it. And that was devastating, and I was dumbfounded. I have worked my entire adult life full-time. I started working when I was 14. I've paid taxes since then. Our oldest daughter even works, and she, you know, pays into taxes as well. So I was very shocked that we were left behind, and that our country would almost reprimand us for a choice that we made, that as American citizens, we have a right to loving somebody that we choose. And it was unfair, and I felt very much left behind. If I could talk to Senator Ron Johnson today, I would tell him that I am tired. I am tired of working 80-hour weeks, knowing that there may be another time my husband's restaurant shuts down. And then I would ask him to please cross that line and work with the other senators and the rest of Washington to get us some help, to do what's right for all American citizens, not just the ones that they pick and choose. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna, for joining us today and telling us your story. We really, really appreciate that. So, you know, I want to give an opportunity if there are any members of the media and you have a question, please type your question into the Q&A. Also, please let us know if you would like to hear a comment in Spanish. We are able to do that today. So we'll just give this a couple of minutes, you know, to see if we do have any questions. And for folks that are part of the Mixed Status Families United group, if you could just let us know in the chat if you would also like to share, we will be able to get to you after any questions and give you an opportunity to also share what your experience has been through this pandemic and being excluded the way that your family has been. So we'll just give this a couple of minutes. So again, if you want to share, you could just, I think it's possible to raise your hand or just type a little comment into the chat and we'll be able to do that. We'll just give this a minute. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any questions. So I think that we can start to wrap this up. I want to thank everybody who, busy moms, busy nonprofit CEOs, busy parents, for taking the time to talk about this incredibly important issue. We are only 2 weeks away from our very, very, very important election in this country, where a lot of decisions are going to be made that are going to impact our communities and our families. And we are calling on our members of Congress and our senators to do right by these families, by these voters in your state. Don't allow for this exclusion to occur any longer, and make sure that every family has the help that they need during this very, very, very difficult time. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us today. And I think we're going to wrap it up. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.